Do Gen Z kids ever watch South Park and say, how is this not considered a hate crime? I will occasionally see headlines to that effect, and I think this is really interesting because if you want to understand Gen X and how they saw the world and especially how they approached comedy, you have to understand South Park. Like a lot of things that have been around forever, it gets forgotten what a profound effect South Park had on the culture. When it came around in the late 90s, at the tail end of the Bill Clinton era, it had a very specific ethic, which is that if you believe in equality and that everyone should be valued the same, the best thing you can do is make fun of everyone equally. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying that this view dominated for a while. It was around 2010 that I first started seeing language talking about comedy punching up versus punching down. And you started to see the effect of things like Tumblr, where you would hear words like problematic being used. But this was more than a decade before any of that, and this represented a very different worldview. And I'm not saying it was right or wrong, but here's how it worked. Basically, imagine a group of coworkers sitting in the break room and they are all joking with each other, they are all laughing, they are all teasing each other equally. Now imagine another coworker comes in and everybody goes silent. The South Park theory of comedy is that you have just insulted this person. By censoring yourself around them, you have said, hey, we think you're too fragile to handle the joking we do with each other. That you have excluded this person from this form of communication, this ribbing and teasing we do when we all like each other and all respect each other. So what South Park was saying is we will ruthlessly mock everyone, every religion, every corporation, every social group, because to exclude someone from the mockery would be a bigger insult than anything we could say in the show. That to say, well, we can't make fun of this group because we're afraid of the backlash or afraid of how angry they'll get, that is the equivalent of the coworkers in the break room excluding somebody from the conversation. But about 10 to 15 years into the run, the dominant idea became comedy should never punch down, that all entertainment should be a form of social activism. Every joke should be aimed upward and attacking the powerful. And that if you aim a joke downward and make fun of someone who does not have a lot of power in society, that is literally a form of violence. That is dehumanizing, that is literally motivating atrocities that will happen in the future. I'm oversimplifying both sides of this discussion because TikTok. But my point is that the people who came out of this comedy scene, like me, there was almost this utopian idea of, in a perfect society, we would all accept that we are ridiculous in different ways. That no one is pure and holy and sacred, and that society is worse when we try to discern which people we're going to put into that category. But maybe they're making the same mistake that I think libertarians make when, for example, they say that in a perfect world you wouldn't need regulations, which is that the problem is this is not a perfect world.